Morning, my name is Lasater and I'm alcoholic. I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be in front of you people today. I'm grateful that there's a God in my life. It wasn't too long ago that I didn't have one. The only thing that I had was my own self-will. And my self-will didn't take me down a very good path. I was an alcoholic, a blackout drinker for over 35 years.
Hi, my name is Mary Lee Lasater, and I am the wife of Lee Lasater, and we have 3 boys, Jordan, Jonah, and James.
And when you get so deep into addictions, you have a hard time telling the truth from the false. And the truth is just what I thought it was. I didn't think I was hurting anybody but myself, but that was very, very false.
Lee began drinking more and more all the time, and it started affecting how he came home and how he was going to act, how he was going to talk to us, what kind of mood he was going to be in. And I did a lot of protecting over the boys, and they didn't know all the things that were happening, and I would just tell them that Dad's choices were not good choices, and hope that I was protecting them and teaching them about choices that they had in their lives.
When you're in addictions and you do these things, you just don't affect yourself. You shake the family tree. I kind of take it as taking my pickup and hitting a tree. You shake every branch. Whether it be your wife, your children, your mother-in-law, your mother, father, it just goes on and on and on. Because those people do love you and they care about you. But, the only thing you're caring about yourself. An alcoholic is a person who's self-centered to extremes. The only thing you're worried about is me, and I. God doesn't want it to be that way.
And it became one particular day about a year ago, on August 22nd, that I needed to talk to him and he was not available, which wasn't always unnormal. And this particular day, he wasn't able to answer his phone. And so the next morning, he wanted to know what I needed, and I said, that was last night that I needed you, and I don't need you today. And for whatever reason, I think it was God talking to me and saying that I couldn't do it by myself anymore. And I had been as strong as I could, and I needed to have a relationship with God.
One day I went to work with a supreme hangover, one of many, and I locked myself in my office at work, and I knew I had to do something. I reached out for help that day. I called several places, checked myself into a treatment facility. Didn't know where I was going, what I was going to do, but I knew I needed help.
On that particular day, I left for school, and I told him that it wasn't that I didn't love him anymore, and it wasn't the loving that was the problem, but it was the choices that he was making and how it was affecting our family and affecting our marriage. And I left to go to work, and that afternoon he sent a text and said that he was going to go and check into a recovery place. It was the scariest text that I'd ever had. A day that I wanted, but then a day that I didn't know what was going to happen after that. And after looking it up on the internet, I found out it was going to be 28 days, and was very unsure of what I was going to do for those 28 days.
It started out being learning how to quit drinking, but the program's actually about living, how to live life correctly. The whole 12 steps is about getting a relationship with God and taking the steps to be able to get there. God has done for me what I could not do for myself. That started out to be just quit drinking, but it's turned into a lot of other things.
I asked God for a lot of guidance, and I never had depended on him before because I was strong. I didn't need his help. The boys and I was asked to come here to North Road by our cousin Melinda, and it was probably one of the best services that I've ever been to. And I told Lee about it and thought that it was a great place to start with a new relationship with God. And he started watching the sermons on the internet, and about 3 months later he asked if we wanted to go to church together, and that was the first time for that in a long, long time.
The Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous led me to the fellowship here at North Road, because if I do not have spiritual growth, I inevitably will slip back to where I have been, and that's a deep, dark place that I do not ever want to go back. And with my fellowship in this church, turning my will and my life over to God every morning, I don't regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. You know, my past is a valuable asset for me today, you know, to see the things that I've done. You know, the gift of awareness that God has gave me, to know that when I'm getting ready to do those things, that I can stop. I can stop and pray.
It's been 365 days since that particular day that Lee chose to go to recovery. And it has been amazing what God has done in 1 year. I would have never dreamed of having a second chance and having the relationship that Lee and I have today compared to a year ago. In many ways, God has helped Lee through his recovery and helped us build a new marriage, and it's like starting over.
For me, it's one day at a time. You know, I live in today knowing that God will take care of me today and lead me down his path. You know, I pray for that every morning. You know, take me down your path today, that your will be done, not mine.
Through God's guidance, every day is a work in progress with our marriage, and I can't wait to see what the next year will bring in our lives. Almost daily, I get a morning text about have a great day and that he loves me, and hadn't heard those things in a long time. Our funny thing is, as a family event in the evening, is that we're out on our property collecting chicken eggs and feeding the chickens, and just time together that we would have never done before. So just those phone calls and those meaningful things that had gone away in our relationship sure make a difference in making your day every day.
It's just a wonderful life today. I want to keep moving forward with this process, you know, keep enjoying North Road.
And one of the most recent exciting things, after 26 years of being married, Lee only wore his wedding ring probably the first 24 hours because he worked in construction, and that wasn't a safe thing to do. So the ring's been put in a box, and about 8 weeks ago he asked me about the ring and thought that it was time and appropriate that he showed respect in our marriage, which was an exciting day. And on Monday he put his ring back on for the first time. So marriage is good.
It's the story.